Hi, and welcome to the Inspired Woman Project. This is Mikki Kingrey, and today I am very excited to be here with Kerry Hales. Hi, Kerry.
Hello,
Hi, welcome.
I'm excited
I
to
know,
be
me
here.
too. This will be fun. So, just so everybody knows, Kerry is a transformational life coach. And so, we are going to dig right in and jump right in. I'd love to hear more about your work in the world.
My work in the world, I am now doing, I'm a coach, I'm a transformational life coach, and my passion is all about finding out what it is that you really want. And my clients are generally stroppy women who need some strong accountability because they're like me, like I was many years ago when I first started out in this personal development realm, and I needed someone strong. I needed someone to stop my world really and say, "What are you doing? Is this what you want?" And yeah, so my purpose is generally to be able to do that for people. I see a lot of people striving down roads that they really aren't conscious about. And so I stop them and ask, is this fun for you? So that kind of thing. So yeah.
And so, I love, one of the things that we were chatting about before is that so many times the path that people take to get to this place where they feel like they're doing the work that they love and it lights them up and they feel like it's their purpose is really windy and not a
Yeah.
straight line. And I'd love to
No.
hear more about what was your path that brought you to this place.
Well, I've been coaching for 13 years, and my degrees in psychology, so I've always been interested in people. I've always been curious about people, but I started dog grooming. So, the path didn't start with talking to people, it started talking to dogs.
Mm.
And I met my mentor, my personal development mentor, um, on a weekend. And actually, it was a seminar, it was one evening. And I'd gone down. I was a business manager in hospitals in the UK, and that was my route. I kind of fell into it, and I was good at it. So I didn't question it because I got paid more. I got promoted, paid more, promoted, paid more. Kind of thought, well, this is good. Life's good. And then I went on, unwittingly at the time, I thought, to this evening where this guy was asking people what they wanted. I just was baffled. And then this guy sat next to me and said he played golf for a living, and that's all he did. He was a semi-pro golfer, and that's what he chose to do. And I could just feel this anger. I was furious that this guy he just sat there calmly talking about the fact that he just played golf and got paid to play golf. And it just seemed such a random thing that he used to be a builder and now he was this golfer because that's what he loved to do. And it was so far left field for me. I couldn't understand that you could change your life like that. These things could happen. And not only, I kind of sort of on the periphery had heard about these people that lived a life that they loved, but wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then this guy was sat next to me. So the next day I went to work. I got on the train, like commuting, and I sat with all these people who looked really miserable where they were going. And we went into London and we did what we did, and we got back on the train and they still looked pretty miserable where they were going back to. And I couldn't then, it was such a visceral feeling that I couldn't deny it. I couldn't then just carry on going to work thinking it was okay because I was conscious of it. I was conscious that there was a choice. And not only was there a choice, I was furious about it that I now had been made conscious about this. I was like, oh my god! Not only am I conscious about it, I don't like the fact that I'm living this life that I could see my career, I could see where it was going. It was going up, and everyone was on the same path. Everyone was on this little elevator of life, and off we were going, and everything was okay. And now everything wasn't okay. And so from then until now, I've just submerged myself in personal development and, many 30 days of, decomposing my personality and putting back the bits that I liked, which was delightfully uncomfortable
Yeah.
and horrific at times. But I now have a life that I love. I live in a place that I love. I have a man who's just wonderful. I have 2 beautiful boys. I live by the beach. There's still progress to be made. There's always progress to be made. There's always things to do, things to plan, things to see. But I'm now in a position where I can stop my world and go, okay, what's going on? What? And I have a whole tool belt to do that with. And it's been rough. It's been intense, but it's been intense in a learning capacity, and I know that that's me. That's what I bring. I don't do things by halves. I don't just do surface stuff. I don't want to just watch a soap or a reality TV thing. It's just, please, shoot me if you're going to make me sit there. It's like, you don't need to do Chinese torture. Just put me in a room with reality TV, and I'll just be like, I'm done. Just get me out. So it's kind of, the road has been windy, to say the least. And say sort of, train on mountains, the hills will be easy. That's how it is. And I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't. I can't imagine going to an office, sitting there knowing what I'm going to do every day, and waiting to come home to get drunk and watch the box in the corner, and then kind of resenting Monday. It's like, it's so far away from my life now. To watch the posts on Facebook to say, oh, is it 1 o'clock? Yes. No.
Yeah. So it sounds like there was this awareness, that this kind of opening that happened for you, where you started to see what was possible, and then it was not able to be denied, and it was just something that needed to be explored further. And I know that I have had a very similar experience of moving through that, all of the stuff that you need to move through in order to be able to get to, the path that feels like the path that you wanted to stay on. And, I had things like, security and self-doubt and, oh my gosh, like my confidence, just so many things that I got to peel away the layers of to be able to, and like you mentioned, like still going. And I'm curious if is there one thing or some handful of things that were like the core stuff that you needed to peel back those layers on so that you could keep taking that forward action?
Oh, there's so many. I think for me, the thing that I had to get over was that I'm quite determined. I'm very determined. And I'm quite a forceful character, strong-willed, strong-minded, an extrovert. And I've always got what I wanted, but there were always victims, because I think when you are brought up within that kind of atmosphere like I was, for me, I had to learn how to not do that, how to be kind, to not only to be kind to other people, but it was a lot around to trust. I had to be able to be vulnerable, because vulnerability, when you're seen as a strong-minded, opinionated person, is seen as a weakness. And now I know that to be able to be vulnerable is probably the strongest thing that you can do. And that took a long time for me to accept, and to be able to go and trust in other people. I mean, there were times when I went on a seminar and they said, you can just turn up and someone will put you up for the weekend. I was like, really? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I rang no less than 4 people that I knew to go through the same kind of conversation, thinking that someone was going to confirm that was a lot of crock. That wasn't right. And then it was clear to me that I couldn't just trust. I couldn't, one person's evidence one person wasn't enough. And so I've had to look at that a lot to see who it is that I let in, and what are the values that I have around those people, to see, who is it that I deem worthy to be able to be a trustworthy source. So that was quite big for me, because I'd learned that to be stroppy if you were stroppy enough, you got your own way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that if you were bolshy and, you know, sort of said, well, I'm not putting up with that, then people back down. If you did it enough times and you did it with enough of a spike, and you know, an energy poke,
Mm-hmm.
then people would kind of go, oh, you don't want to mess with her, and off I would go.
Yeah.
And now I don't need to do that. I'm quite clear in that. So, and I'm the more aware I've become about energy and how people are about energy. You can be kinder about it. You know, you can. I don't need to do that, and actually I can feel energy much more now because my barriers aren't so thick that they, you know, that I've allowed people to penetrate, because then I can feel more. You know, I've kind of I've allowed myself to be more sensitive than I ever was. Yeah.
So it sounds like there's definitely a trust piece that was there for you to continue to move through. I also have heard the word choice a lot, and really discovering what it is that you want. And it almost sounds like, you know, looking at what are the choices that you have at each of the steps along the way. And I know that, you know, what do you want is one of the hardest questions for people to answer. And I had the experience just over the last part of last year. I was so clear on what I wanted and so focused, and it all happened. I mean, you know, it was beautiful. And then I came to the point of, now what do I want? And this path of like rediscovering what you want, it's almost like it is continuous. It's not you identify it and then it's done, right?
Well, it's not a destination, what you want.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Feel it.
Yeah. So I'd love for you to share more just about what was that path like for you, or what is it like for your clients when you're working with them to discover what is it that they want if they don't necessarily know what they want in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, most people don't know what they want because they're so bombarded with so many choices, so many things, you know, and they're submerged with stuff. That, you know, we're kind of given so many choices now of how, you know, how do I choose? How do I choose the red pair when I could have the blue pair and I could have it in pink or green or white, or what, it might be on sale? You know, so many things of just, you know, just to give you an idea. And for me, my clients, and when I talk to my clients, most people, if they really don't know what they want, I always start them with what they don't. So, because when people you think that you don't have an opinion, or your opinions are so muddled and you're confused about what it is, there's always a question. There's always something that's annoying you. There's something that's pissing you off, or something that you've got a feeling about, a strong enough feeling that's there, that keeps coming round. And it might be something that you think, well, I certainly don't want that. Well, you don't want that, but you probably want something like it, or some flavour of it. So if you're annoyed enough about something, or something that you can find yourself really get riled about, that's where we need to investigate. Look there, start there, because that's where we'll find the passion. That's where we'll find some interest and curiosity around it. Not something that you kind of just can talk about and it's just, you know, and everything else is as well, you know, we may as well talk about worms, you know. Whereas if you're talking about something that you really, you know, that you find yourself gravitating towards, that you want to read about, that when somebody wants to talk about it, you're curious about, you're interested, your attention is there, you're not waving your attention somewhere else. So that's how I would normally get curious with my clients, or ask them questions, you know, like, you know, the general questions like, you know, what's fun for you? And if they don't know what's fun for them, it's around that question. You know, what do you do to, you know, what do you do in your spare time? What did you want to do? What did you do when you wanted to be a kid? What kind of, and you find something that lights them up, you know, and that you get curious about. If I chase my curiosity, so they should chase theirs, and I teach them to chase theirs. So kind of I will coach them about that space. So when you can, then I will stop them, and they might be in the middle of a sentence. I'll go, stop there. It's same or different, and they'll go, wow, and I go, that's the space.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for in anything. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
You could be playing Pictionary.
Yeah.
But if that's the space that you want to chase in life, because it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. And even, we were chatting before, we both have children, and I'm seeing that too with my kids, right? And they're all different, and they all have different interests, and sometimes the interests are really obvious, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're subtle, and my daughter received my 12-year-old received a book on how to write calligraphy for Christmas, and I didn't know if it was going to be a thing or not, and she was disappeared, and she's creating signs everywhere with all this beautiful lettering, and it was something that's like really nourishing her in a way that I wouldn't have purposely thought of or expected. So it's like going deeper in that, like, well, what is it about that lights her up and fills her, and like, what else is there, like, where else can we play in that space and explore? And I love that. That's great.
It's the creativity, isn't it? It's just the finding of, I listened to Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert, recently, and it was just lovely. I was just consumed in it. I was I was so excited. I wanted then I get excited. Then I think everyone should read it. Have you read it? Because then I'm going to talk about it. Stop the talk excited.
They're excited too. That's fun. So if there was, a tip or something that people can take away that they could put into practice right away so that they can be more on their path and live this more purposeful, fulfilled kind of space, what would be a practice or a tip or something that you would offer?
So many tips. I think the first thing I've started doing more recently is to meditate, to calm your mind, to sort of that. I think if you don't do some kind of meditation, just to be able to get into that calm head, I've just been able to, so you can hear your own thoughts that are yours, that are not, somebody else's sort of transcribed through you. So to meditate, because that will calm you enough to be able to do those kinds of things, to journal things, and, ask yourself questions in your journal. It's not about, just to brain dump, but to journal on a daily basis. Things that you're grateful for, things that you like, things that you've enjoyed. So you're training yourself into new habits. That's always a good thing to do. And is to stay curious. I think if you can stay curious about all the things that you like, just to notice, are you the same or different when you're doing things? So, when you're starting to talk to some people and you kind of think, 3 out of 10. Other people, you're just like, oh, yeah, I did this. You kind of like, that's a 9 out of 10. You can look back over your day and sort of see what were the peaks that you remember and why did you remember them, and you kind of go, oh, that bit, I really like that bit. So that's the great thing about journaling, is to be able to sort of note it and see it, so you kind of telling yourself, look for that bit, that's the bit that I really liked, and then to do more of that. And if you find you're getting self-envious about something, write about that. It's like, how can I include that more in my life?
Yes, it's almost like a practice around being present, slowing down, having that awareness of where you are currently, and that will almost in itself start to open up the possibility of what else, what is the experiences that you want.
Yeah, what else is there? There's always something else, as we get to sort of a stage where you think, I've got my business, I'm doing masterminds, there's lots of lovely things that are coming up this year, there's a book to be written about my 100-day challenge that I've just done. There's so many things, and it never stops. That you don't get to nirvana and go, oh, it's done. Always the next thing. I was coaching somebody earlier on. I was saying, you're a student. Think of yourself as a student. We're always learning, always going to be learning. There's nothing, you don't get there until until you get there.
Yeah, that's great. What was the 100-day challenge that you did? So
I did a
curious.
100-day burpee challenge.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I
That's
did it.
awesome.
I did it for myself. I kind of, I lost my mum last year, and so many different things happened. And I don't know. I knew I wanted to do a fitness challenge. I looked at my body and just thought, you look like an old lady. And I thought, right, okay, I've got to change the belief. So I changed the belief about how I wanted to be, and then burpees kind of fell to me somehow. And I thought, and it was 100 days before Christmas, and I thought, I need to put in a challenge of some kind. I'll do a 100-day burpee challenge.
Oh,
Not even thinking about it, because that's how I roll. And my partner was like, yeah, that's a really good challenge. Are you sure you want to do that, Cal? And I was like, yes, of course I do. I know what I'm doing. So you don't kind of think, obviously, day one is easy. Just do one, and then on Christmas Eve, you're doing 100. It's kind of a bit, right up along how I was, dealing with different things, and it's the mind stuff that come up when you do a daily challenge like that, an increasing daily challenge. So it was fun at times. Generally, after I'd finished the burpees that day, and then you have this little euphoric going, oh, I've done them, I've done them, I've done them, I've done them, I've done them. Oh God, I've got to do them tomorrow. So,
I
yeah,
love
but I'm a
that.
burpee convert now. I totally,
Wow. So do you
yeah,
still do them?
yeah, I do 30 a day.
Nice. Wow. Very cool.
It doesn't take any time. I mean, it's just crazy, crazy, silly, sort of like 7 minutes, if that.
Very cool.
And it's and I say that completely off the cuff, but if you'd have seen me doing one, it was kind of really you're just kind of just go, yeah, I do 30 burpees. Because like my one person burpee was like, oh my God, oh, I'm gonna do this. But yeah, it's crazy.
I love it.
I have photos of before and after, and all those kinds of silly things that you do. Just think, right. But it was a personal thing. I love the challenge of it. I love to mentally challenge yourself, because it's the stimulation that you get when you do that kind of thing. And the daily challenge, the daily mental thing that you see the patterns. It's the same stories, and your mind goes, well, if I'm not going to get you like that, then I'll get you like this. Aren't you poorly? Don't think you need to do this today. Oh, is that a strain? Or is this, is that? Oh, you sure you got enough sleep? Just so many things. So yeah, it was a great challenge.
That's very cool. Very inspiring. Thank you. So one thing that I ask everybody that joins is, what is your unique definition of success? It is something that I believe changes over time, and it's different for everybody. And so I'd love to hear, what is your unique definition of success now?
Wow, we were talking earlier. If you'd have asked me this last week, it would have been different to this week. That's how much it changes. And actually, I read something last week that really kind of shook me about success, because I'm very purposeful in when I coach, and not, but very much about my definition of success is about living life daily. So it can be goal driven. It's in a big goal, but there's no point in you achieving a big goal if you're not doing things that you love on a daily basis. So it's definitely of what is it that you do on a daily basis that you love. Another thing that's come recently is very much about what if success was just about being kind? Because if you were kind to yourself all the time, like how different would you be? You wouldn't beat yourself up about things. You'd find solutions. You'd find good ways to do things, more productive ways to do things. But it wouldn't be about beasting yourself and you should have done this, or all those kinds of things. So yeah, to live life daily with kindness is my definition of success.
That's another good challenge for people.
Yeah, I challenge
It's
you.
making my brain start to think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure people are wanting to know, how can they find out more about you?
I'm me everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm kerryhales.com. I'm Kerry Hales Coaching on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook, but I do a free challenge that you can come and find me on Facebook, which is a monthly mojo challenge. It is a Facebook group, and you can come and we set a challenge on every month. And you come and you say, right, okay, what I'm going to do this month is I'm going to do burpees, or I'm going to declutter, or I'm going to do self-care, or I'm going to find. So, so many people do, just nice things for themselves. They wrote out 30 things and put them in a pot and pick one out each day and said, right, okay, this is what I'm going to do with myself today. Okay. So, and, increasing challenges like I've done, decreasing challenges like I've done, just anything that you want some accountability and you want to do in a group. So sometimes it's a personal challenge and people then message me and say, look, I want to do this, but I don't really want to post that. And so I message it and I go, okay, well, let's put it like this, and then it's generic enough for people not to kind of go, oh, did you see? So it's that kind of thing. And so I'm really enjoying that side of it. So if you want to come and challenge yourself, come join a challenge.
Very fun. Yeah. And what was the name of the Facebook group? Monthly Mojo Challenge. Okay, great.
So I'm going to challenge your mojo.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so fun to talk with you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.